Hello. Why is this flickering? Hello, my name is Nina and welcome to my channel Neeintje, and in today's video, I really wanted to make a favorites video because I sort of really missed that part of old YouTube where people would just show what they liked that month, and I really wanted to bring that back because I want to record what are some things that 22-year-old Nina really liked in spring of 2025 for memory's sake, and I thought maybe other people would also find it interesting because they could perhaps find some new music or film recommendations that are not algorithmically based off their own, because sometimes, you know, your own algorithm traps you into things that it thinks you will like, but in reality you need to break out of that bubble a little bit, if you know what I mean. So because it has literally been storming from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the past 4 days and I can't really go outside, I figured I would film this video. So here we are. I have some of my notes on my laptop, so if you see me looking down here, that's why. And if you hear the wind sometimes, I'm sorry, this is not a professional recording studio. I'm only human, okay? Like, I can't control the storm outside, so it can be like ambient rain noises to study to. Lord knows I've had enough of that video for 1 year. That's my short rambly little intro. Without further ado, let's get into my spring favorites. Let me not look chapped for you guys. So the first category I think I'm going to talk about is music. And you better strap in because I have a lot of music, and if you don't find something that you like from this list, I'm going to be very surprised because maybe I'm trying to be like unique and quirky, but I don't really know anyone who listens to this wide array of music like I do. I think how I'm going to do it is I'm going to give you a lot of music and I'm only going to discuss my favorite songs. So starting off with Spanish music, we have Moonlight Lady by Julio Iglesias. And I'm not exactly sure if this is a cover of like another person's English rendition of this song, but either way, it's so funny to me, this song. I think it's super like West Coast 70s, and I can just imagine everyone with the blowouts and on the beach and stuff like that. Apparently Julio Iglesias, from the Spanish people I've spoken to in my uni, is not as big of a deal as he is in Latin America and in America, because every middle-aged Latina woman I know and grew up around, like my homeroom teacher Miss Perez, she loved Julio Iglesias. The second one is kind of a basic choice, but if you haven't listened to this album, Bad Bunny's new album, my favorite song off of Bad Bunny's new album is Turista and Baile Inolvidable. I think Bad Bunny's new album is probably my favorite out of his entire discography because I've liked a few songs but never an entire album like that before because I really love boleros and salsa music. I think this album is really amazing because I think it's getting a lot of older generations on board with his music. Big critique that a lot of people have with his music, I feel, is that, oh, it's too repetitive, it's just trap music or something like this. And this album is showing, no, he's much more than that as an artist. And speaking of boleros, these are not new songs, but I have been re-listening to them and rediscovering and liking them a lot lately, which are Como la Flor by Selena. And this song is just such good vibes, and I don't know, like, you have to bring the sunshine here with you in Northern Europe sometimes and create your own happiness. So if you see me like this on the bike, I'm probably listening to Selena. And the last two bolero type songs I have are El Reloj, or if you're Spanish, wait, let me pull up the Spanish pronunciation. Reloj. So aggressive, the Spanish version. I really love this song and I love the lyrics. This song is sort of a standard that a lot of Latin artists have sung, and I really like Jose Jose's version as well, but I would say that Luis Miguel's is definitely my favorite. And finally is Y Solo Se Me Ocurre Amarte by Alejandro Sanz, and just another beautiful song on the guitar. The next song is not a bolero, but it is very Pacific Northwest / West Coast vibes, and I associate boleros with the Pacific Northwest as well. The last two songs I have for this category are Those Years Are Over and Okay My Love by the Shaladas. If you've never been to the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast, I would really recommend just listening to these two songs because these songs so succinctly capture that Pacific Northwest feeling for me. When I listen to these songs, I feel like I'm back on the Oregon coast, cruising down, riding the Subaru with all the windows open. It's very relaxing, but at the same time a bit melancholy, is how I would rate these songs. The next category of music, R&B. First on the list, we got a heavy hitter. We got Marvin Gaye, Where Are We Going? And whenever I listen to this song, I just have such a good movie montage in my head of this guy walking down the city streets and the subway going on in the background. A lot of messages from Motown music in the 60s and 70s unfortunately seem to still be very relevant in today's world. And when listening to the lyrics of this song, you're like, I can literally directly apply this to the world that we're currently living in. Anyways, the next song is Figures Can't Calculate by Willem Devon. Two songs from Carl Carlton, Sexy Lady and This Feeling's Rated Extra. So groovy. Just all of these songs don't really have the words to describe. You just gotta listen to them. Amante Amore by Mina, not Nina, but Mina with an M. If you don't know who she is, an amazing living icon actually. I think she's still alive, this Italian artist. It's just such a great feeling when you find a song from an artist's discography that you really like and you've never heard before, and I really like the lyrics of the song as well. Can't You See by Total and Biggie Smalls, Share My World by Mary J. Blige. We are birthday twins, by the way. Love Mary J. Blige. Sweet Thing by Rufus and Chaka Khan. I didn't actually know that Chaka Khan was in a group before she went solo. Mulholland Drive by Snoop Dogg and LaToya Williams. Thinking of You by Sister Sledge. Actually, I think this song is probably one of my all-time favorite songs. Whenever I listen to this song, it just puts me in such a good mood, and I really recommend listening to this positive song to start your day out right. This album also, just in general, amazing album. Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder. I discovered a new artist called the Isley Brothers. My favorite two songs I've discovered from them so far are For the Love of You Parts 1 and 2 and The Highways of My Life. I Love You by the East of Underground, and two songs by Janet Jackson. When I Think of You and Someone to Call My Lover. At the time of recording this favorites video, I think that Someone to Call My Lover is still a trending song on social media. Although I've heard it before as a kid, it now sort of perfectly encapsulates how I've been feeling lately. This song has a sort of very joking tune. It's sort of Janet, or whoever the girl in the song, she's talking to her friends. She's saying sort of like, yeah, the man of my dreams, he's gonna look like this, and this. Sort of in the song, maybe I'm projecting, but it sounds like the girl doesn't really believe that it's gonna come true, but she's having fun anyways. And she's trying to stay positive. Whenever I listen to this song, I sort of imagine a cheesy early 2000s montage of all of your girlfriends with you in a convertible with like a green screen in the background. Moving on to Brazilian music. Vai Brasil. The first song I have is Tem Que Ser Agora, which never have heard of this band before I heard this song. This song is so dreamy, and it just takes you along on this ride, and I can't describe it, you just gotta listen to it. I have a few new discoveries from Marcos Valle. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name correctly. I discovered Marcos Valle when I was like 16 or 17 by the song Samba de Verão, which is just a bossa nova classic that a lot of people sing. I found another album of his, and I didn't even realize that these two people were the same man because his appearance changed so much. I'll show you like the two album covers. It's kind of insane. My first favorite song from Marcos Valle is Bicicleta. Another great song to start your day off to, and it's also just a super silly and goofy, funny song. An old favorite I rediscovered is Fogo do Sol. This album I hope it's platinum. It is such, every song is so good on it. Estrelar and Naturalmente are my other two favorites on this album. Next is Gilberto Gil, and I also think I'm not saying his name with a Brazilian accent correctly. Another living legend. If you don't know who he is, go educate yourself on him. I have 3 songs from him that I really liked this month and the month before. The first being Drau, and then the next two, Tempo Rei and Palco. Palco? The next is Miss Balanzo, Volta e Meia by Oterno. I know that probably everyone and their mother has listened to this album except for me, and I'm late to the party, but better early than never. Oh my god, I really love this song, and this song sort of gives me the same vibe to that Janet Jackson song I was just talking about, Someone to Call My Lover. It's called Olha Eoki O by Evinha, and I had never heard of her before this song. This song is so funny and it's so good, and it's sort of the same thing of like she's singing to herself, like tudo que faz uma pessoa normal. Like, it's so hard to find just a normal person. Continuing on, Lavem a Onda by Tom Zé, Come With Me by Tania Maria, Speak Low by Deotato, and Sossego by Tim Maia. The final music category is Japanese music. I have been going through a lot of Eikichi Yazawa's music as well as Southern All-Stars. I feel like they have not been getting a lot of love, even though city pop has had like a really big resurgence ever since the Panini in the West. But if you don't know who Eikichi Yazawa is, love him. And I think if you like Bowie's music and Elvis Presley's, you're really gonna like his music as well, because you can tell by all of the Japanese rock stars from the 60s and 70s, I think, are very heavily inspired by the American musicians that came before them. And it makes sense if you think about it historically, because after World War II, when America took over Japan, and then there was a baby boom there, and then all of these kids were exposed to American movies and songs and media. My two songs from him that I really liked was Love That Was Lost and Pure Gold. Southern All-Stars, got 3 songs from them. Wakare Hanashi wa Saigo ni, Emanon, and Never Fall in Love Again. Miki Imai. Oh my god, I love Miki. Miki is also one of my like style icons, I would say, especially in this album cover. Like, call me delusional, I think I can pull off these vibes if I really tried. I have 2 songs that are just standalone from Miki, Anytime, Many Times, and Boogie Woogie Lonesome High Heel. A super funny Japanglish name for a song, and also a great karaoke song. From the Ivory 2 album, which was the album I was just talking about, I think, I have T for Two, which is a super beautiful bossa nova song, but in Japanese. I think it's an original song. And The Days I Spent With You. The next song I have is Hello Again by Kazuhito Murata and Kotakayo by Spectrum. Album cover of this song, so fantastic and so groovy. I've also never heard of this band before. So I think that's it for the music. Probably could have made a separate video just talking about only music. If you don't even find one song from all the songs I just mentioned that you like, I'm sorry. I really tried my best here. I tried my best to give you an international buffet. You're bound to find something. The next category are movies. Or films if you're an intellectual. I actually have not been watching a lot of movies. I have not been on my movie grind as I have been since I was a little kid. This is a completely separate topic, but starting from January 2025 and February, I actually got the flu for 2 weeks, and then still like took me like 2 weeks to recover after that. I got quite sick, so I was in the midst of like finding a place to live and also had the flu, so I was watching a lot of movies, comfort movies to make myself feel better. And during those times I actually went through and rewatched a lot of Chow Yun-fat's discography. And I say rewatched, but I honestly don't really remember the plot of a lot of these movies, because for like background info, Chow Yun-fat was one of my grandma's favorite actors, so we always had the DVDs of it, but I didn't remember the plot of it. Also, there were no English subtitles when we were watching those films. So I would see like a still or a scene that I vaguely remember, but it was basically like watching the movie brand new. I just really love Chow Yun-fat because he has a very comforting presence to me. He's basically been by my side since I was a little kid. We have a parasocial relationship, and I just love how he solves crime, and only the juiciest knit and corduroy combos for his wardrobe. It's just kind of hilarious, and I like how he doesn't really take himself too seriously on camera. At least that's the interpretation I get. My 2 favorite films that I watched were A Better Tomorrow and God of Gamblers. Oh my god, love God of Gamblers. That scene where they're at the table and he has the ring. It's so good. The last film I have on this list is High and Low by Akira Kurosawa, and I had also watched this film before when I was 16. on a DVD that I got from the library. But I rewatched it again in theater, in the original 35mm, because the Eye Film Museum in Amsterdam was showing it. Also, I like remembered it, but not the entire plot, so it was really interesting to rewatch it again now that my brain is perhaps a bit more fused and my prefrontal cortex has developed more since I was 16. Just a really solid movie, like no fat, everything that's there needs to be there, no filler. I really liked it a lot. Everyone knows about Toshiro Mifune, he's probably like the most famous Japanese actor of all time. But my other favorite, Tatsuya Nakadai, was also in this film, and I really recommend checking out his discography. He's also an actor that Kurosawa puts in his films a lot, and his filmography has some heavy hitters of films. Like, he only does stuff about the deepest, darkest stuff about the human experience, which is kind of crazy. Also, side note of if you get to watch a director's entire filmography, I really like how you get to see these reoccurring actors. I also really like it when they flip roles of who's being the serious actor in the scene, depending on the movie. Something that I forgot was in High and Low was that the guy who plays the bad guy is the cowboy old guy from Tampopo, but it's him when he's young. So it was really strange to see, but it was really good. Moving on from movies and music, we got fashion up next. I think the definite star of the show are these jeans, which I have literally worn to a shred, as you can see in the back pockets. Also, can you tell which back pocket I keep my phone in? If you have to bike everywhere like how I do here, just the crotch of your pants will eventually become torn to shreds, which is unfortunate. I've gotten so many compliments on these jeans, and a lot of people think that they're like Japanese salvage denim or something, but no. I got these for 20 euros at the Pull & Bear final sale, which is just crazy. Sometimes you just get a mythical pull like that and you find such a high quality item at a fast fashion retail. So they started out in this beautiful dark wash denim, and then after wearing them almost daily for a year, they molded to my legs and faded out into this sort of medium light blue color. It's really funny because I got these jeans and then I went to London last year, and there's photos of me next to like a phone booth wearing these, and the jeans are super dark wash. And then last month I was in London almost a year later. I'm also wearing the same exact jeans, so you can see how the jeans have changed over time. Next up are another pair of pants, because finding good pants for me is such a difficult feat. They are these Uniqlo U pleated pants, and I got them on clearance because I think this was like the last size they had in store for around 30 euros. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's sort of a really dark navy blue. They're not black. I really like these because they're perfect for my body type, of that the waist is really small but then it balloons out more at the hips. Waist is too small. My issue with pants, if the inseam is not long enough, is that there's always a gap in the back and I have to wear a belt. But with these, I do not need to, so it's really nice. Next up are some new basics and new colors to add to my wardrobe. As we can see here, as we know, or as you can tell as what I'm wearing here, I would say blue or black boat neck top is my comfort zone, is my weighted blanket, and I'm trying to expand my wardrobe past just shades of blue. I found out that jewel tone or pastel colors seem to complement my skin tone a lot, especially when I start getting a little bit tanner. I feel like I can wear a wider variety of colors, but if you think that it is incorrect and a better color would suit me, if you're like one of those Korean color specialists or something like that, by all means, please tell me. I really like these 4 new tops that I bought because they really fit my body well. As a general fashion rule, I think, I don't forget how the exact quote goes, but it's like, the item needs to be interesting in one of 4 ways. It's either shape, color, pattern, or texture. And I think these 4 tops fit the shape and pattern criteria. My final fashion favorite are these J. Crew loafers, which I get weekly compliments on. I got these for such a steal at the post-Christmas clearance sale. I think these retail like $175 US, and I got them for $47. Really, nothing beats the high of getting something like 70% off. It took me a while to actually break these in, but once I broke them in, they became easily one of my most comfortable shoes. Loafers are really funny because you can trick people into thinking that you're very put together, when in reality, they took less time to put on than lacing up your sneakers. I really like how it elevates any outfit, and if you wear them with some dark wash jeans and a nice sweater, it can really be a really nice Japanese Americana city boy fit, which I obviously like a lot. Moving on to home goods, I have only 2 items in this category, and the first being this Muji lavender and sandalwood scented candle, which I picked up at the Muji London because there is no Muji in Amsterdam. Begging on my hands and knees, please open one. Everyone would love it. You would make so much money. It's already halfway done because I burn it while I'm editing. This is coming from someone who hates scented candles and gets nauseous very quickly and does not like strong perfumes or anything like that. I really like this candle and I should have bought another one. Next is my knockoff Noguchi rice paper lamp from H&M Home. I actually wanted this lamp for a long time. It was on my list of when I had set aside some money to buy new furniture for when I moved, but it was constantly sold out. But then on a whim, me and my friend Elias, we walked into the H&M Home and there was a return in store for this lamp. So that's how I got the lamp. And I'm really pleased with how it looks in my room, and I think it really fills that weird empty space corner. And I had like a smaller lamp in it before, but it really did not fit the place, so I'm really satisfied with it and I think it's a fantastic addition to my room. Next up is skincare and beauty items. First on my list, this sunscreen, which is the Bondi Sands sunscreen. And if you're Australian or British, you might be like, why are you plugging the most basic ass drugstore sunscreen? I actually really like this sunscreen. And they just recently in the Netherlands started selling a lot of UK and Irish and Australian products in the drugstore. And I think it's because there are so many expats here ever since Brexit happened that they are like, maybe we should start capitalizing off of that. I was out of my Beauty of Joseon sunscreen and I couldn't wait 2 weeks because it was sunny like 2 months ago and I needed my sunscreen. So I decided to pick this up and I was actually quite pleasantly surprised with this sunscreen. And it also has UVA and UVB protection, which is really great. It does smell faintly of coconut. As someone who is sort of the scent police, as I mentioned earlier with the scented candle, I don't really mind it and it fades quite quickly, the smell, as well as it leaves you with a glowy base that's perfect for underneath your makeup. Unironically, this sunscreen makes me look forward to my morning routine because it just makes me say like Bondi Beach, which just makes me laugh every single time. Mark my words, I shall see Bondi Beach with my own eyes one day. The next item I have is this Hatomugi toner, which I've actually tried before because my friend Sophia really is a huge fan of this line. I always use the Hada Labo lotion. Unfortunately, it was €5 more expensive, so I decided to try this item this time. I really have no negatives to say about this product. It has no scent, it's good for sensitive skin, also good for if you have sunburns or eczema or something like that. And it's very affordable, so there's no excuse for my subscribers to not be glowing on any budget. Next up is this hair pomade by Gatsby called Metarabu Balm Smarto. The name is so ridiculous and Japanglish that also, same as the Bondi Sands sunscreen, it makes me look forward to using it in my morning routine. Once again, it does not have an overbearing scent, which is definitely a theme of products that I will recommend. It has to pass my nauseous test. It smells really clean. It gives my hair enough texture, but it does not leave it feeling crunchy, which I really dislike. If you put it in your hair and then you go like this, now it stays a little bit longer, but it's just a medium hold pomade, I would say. Finally, I have 2 beauty products, which I'm wearing both of them right now actually. The first being this Kiko Milano eyeshadow stick in the color 2. I just use this on the insides of my eyes to make them pop. I can't really tell if you can see it in the viewfinder here, but in real life I think it definitely makes a difference. And then the other item I have is a new lip product, which is by NYX. It's their hydrating gloss serum, and I'm actually wearing it right now because I needed a replacement for my favorite ColourPop lipstick, which they do not sell here. I think it's a bit too dark as a gloss for me, at least in the spring summer, but I blotted out and it stays as a stain like this, which I really like. My final category for this video is accessories, and I only have 2 things for this category. The first being my Paddington keychain, which I finally have a bag charm on my bag. Everyone just loves to see him coming and he spreads joy wherever he goes. I get compliments on him constantly, especially from older people and children. They really love him. It's when I'm like sitting next to someone at a cafe or something. I really have wanted to add a little keychain to my bag for a while, and I was gonna get the Nina bunny, but since everyone has the crochet Miffy here on their bag, I wanted to be like a little different and unique. And when I saw the Paddington keychain at Foyles, I knew that he was coming home with me. The next thing are these Revo sunglasses, which obviously they don't fit my face and they look a little bit ridiculous, but they have a story attached to them. I use them as a headband actually when I cook or if I'm just like writing stuff, because this part is surprisingly really grippy, and I think it's because these are meant for like professional sportswear or something like that they stick so well to the sides of your face. I got these in the Alps for free when I was hiking with Tio, and I think someone just left them at a rest stop. I'm really sorry to the old man who left these on the table, but I promise I'm using them for good use. The price of these glasses only adds to the hilarity of this story, because these are Revo sunglasses, and when I looked up the price of these, retail, these are $250 US. So quite an expensive headband indeed. And finally, to end this video off with my final favorites of the spring, it's not necessarily a physical item, but more of a habit that I'm implementing, which is I've been trying to improve my dopamine baseline. If you don't know what that means, I'll explain very quickly. This looks like not needing to fill every part of my day with distraction. I don't feel the need anymore to fill every single part of my day with media, such as having to listen to music when I'm cooking, or I never did this, but a lot of people listen to music in the shower or on my bike commute to school. Been trying to keep a few things sacred, like not needing to watch a YouTube video while I'm eating, or like a TV show or anything of the sorts. And especially since I spend so much time on the computer just for work with my headphones on, I just think your brain needs time to breathe and to just listen to the birds and the trees and stuff like that. And that may sound like a very silly and obvious thing to say, not necessarily a radical statement, but I just feel like we inflict a lot of unnecessary anxiety onto ourselves when we're constantly being shoved other people's lives in our faces. I think what I'm preaching for here is mindful media consumption. I wanted to end this video on this note because I am preaching for getting your attention span back and actually doing the things that you want to do and say you're going to do because you no longer have a media addiction. I really am trying to cultivate an audience that loves long form content as much as I do and has an attention span to sit through a 20 to 30 minute video without needing to have like Subway Surfers or them scrolling on their phone next to my video. Or I hope that I can be interesting enough to overpower the Subway Surfer thing on the bottom of the screen. So yeah, that is it for my spring favorites. I think if you watched to the end of this video, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it, and I really hope that you found at least one thing that you liked, whether it be a song or a movie that will enrich your life perhaps. Wherever you are in the world, I wish you a beautiful rest of your day, and take care of yourself, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!